First of all, it is great to see you both. I love the dynamic you bring to the Copenhagen Test. Parker and Cobb, they really reshape how we understand the orphanage inside. Sinclair, I'm going to start with you. You're incredible as Parker. Parker is she's fascinating because she's building this world around Alexander, yet she's invisible to him. How does she shape his life from behind the curtain, impact who she becomes?
Yeah, I think that when we meet Parker, she's also kind of floating. Nothing's really going right in her career. She's struggling with, just who she is as a person. And when she's tasked with learning Alexander, it gives her a purpose. And I think that through him and all of his intricacies, she's finding what she's good at, which is studying and predicting people. And, I think that's probably a skill no one inherently knows that they have until you're put to the test. So to be given the opportunity to pursue a strength is like the gift that Alexander ends up giving Parker.
Absolutely. Now, Mark, I think that Cobb might be one of those characters that I disliked in the beginning, but then the more and more I got to know about him, the more and more I really empathized with them. Cobb and Alexander share the competitive respect for each other, but the orphanage weaponizes competition. How much do you think that environment shapes the way Cobb and Alexander sees Alexander as a rival, as a threat, as a necessary ally?
Well, I think he sees him completely as a threat. Once the show really picks up steam, and that's what's fun about it because there's so much at stake, and no one's really listening to him, and no one's really paying attention, and that combined with this natural rivalry they already kind of have, just creates a great relationship between them. And also for Cobb, he's going home at night with this thing that he can't solve, a puzzle he can't solve, and he's told not to solve it, which is even more frustrating. And, it leads him to have to question everything. I think all he's ever wanted, I mean, there's an episode where we show a bit of his past and how he doesn't come from money. He didn't have much. He's worked really hard to get to where he is. And now he's questioning everything he's worked for his entire life and, his entire country. And what are we actually doing? So those are great stakes to play. And it was great to play it with Simu.
Absolutely. Sinclair, Parker essentially creates moments and emotional cues for Alexander through Michelle, almost like this infield avatar. How much of Parker's true personality do you think inevitably bleeds in through those instructions?
I think more than she originally anticipated, including her mistakes. And getting to watch those play back is kind of like, oh, okay, I need to do better because this is not working. So I need to be more clever. I need to be more careful. And I think that a lot of her slips in through. And I think that's part of the reason why it's so successful is because she's basing this interaction and this mission off of real people and emotions that she has, whether she's aware of them or not. But anything is enhanced when you add, real feeling behind it.
Absolutely, 100%. I want to talk about the orphanage for a second because I think it is one of the most. It almost feels like a character itself within the series. Mark, for both of you, the orphanage tests everybody in different ways, morally, emotionally, psychologically. But for both of you, how do Parker and Cobb start to discover who they really are inside the system that exposes strength, vulnerability, and loyalties that they didn't know they had?
Well, I think it's hard to keep your humanity in a situation like that because you have such a strong allegiance to what's happening, but at the same time, lives are at stake, and some people have to lie and they have to hide things, and that's what's great because it tests who you are. It's a real test of mettle, I think, for everyone. So for Cobb, I don't think he could have foreseen this coming. I think the orphanage is operating at such a level that it can't help but be unpredictable. And even for St. George and for Moira, like there's so much happening. So I think everyone is constantly realizing who their true self is because they're pushed to the limit.
That's what I love about this show. Every single episode, it gives you these little nuggets of truth that are like little seeds that are planted that pay off later on down the line. Look, this show's incredible. You guys both do an incredible job. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.